A new report out this morning on the growing economic contributions of Latinos living in the United States. Joining us now to break down the numbers and much more, Saul Trujillo, co-chairman of the Latino Donor Collaborative and chairman of the Trujillo Group Investments. He's also the co-founder of La Attitude, which is kicking off later today. So the numbers, we've seen some of these before. You've brought them to us, but it keeps growing, and we can revisit these things, which are these numbers which, you know, when you hear them, it's just hard to believe. So U.S. Latino GDP, living here, Saul, would be the 8th largest GDP in the world, and bigger than Italy, Brazil, or South Korea, just living in the United States. That's something that people need to know about, because we need to probably react in certain ways to that info.
Well, good morning, Joe. You're exactly right, and I think one of the key points of bringing this to the conversation here on your show is that at the end of the day, you can talk about tech, you can talk about trends, you can talk about a lot of things, but you need customers, and you need workers, and you need people that are creating the productivity in the economy. So GDP becomes a critical number, not just the DOW, NASD, AQ, and the S&P. And so one of the key things that we're doing is trying to bring this reality to us in terms of how we think about our economy. And the U.S. Latino Cohort is driving so much growth that in the latest study from the time we talked last year, the U.S. Latino Cohort outgrew the GDP of China and India. China by 30%, India by 21%. And it's already the 8th largest, and it'll soon pass France and soon pass the UK and India in terms of size, and as you said, right here in our country.
Right. You make the point, you're quoted saying the difference between the 21st and the 20th century are the 2 Ds. One is digitization, which we understand, all the things that are different in our life now. Hard to imagine. I carry this thing around. It's like carrying around a travel guide and a map and an Encyclopedia Britannica and everything else. I mean, it's crazy. The second thing is demographics, and you can't ignore it. You could also say maybe diversity in the country. Demos and diversity are the second D, and business leaders need to pay attention to that. I think if they're going to take full advantage of what the future brings.
Well, Joe, you're exactly right. When I was running Telstra and we made an entry into China, I didn't bring a lot of people from Pennsylvania and Wyoming and other places to go work there, because I wanted people that understood the market. When I was in Africa, when I was in France, when I was in other parts of the world, you need people that understand the markets, and you need people in your senior management. You need them on boards. The Latino cohort only has 3% of all the board seats, while it's generating very disproportionate growth in the B2C sector. It might be as much as 70% when you look at net sales growth across almost any B2C sector, and now moving into the B2B. So as a country and as leadership, we should understand, how do we catalyze more growth? So number one, it's the Latino growth cohort. It's about capital flowing, and it's also about having talent that understands the market.
Well, that's what do we need from policymakers? I guess we need. What would you like to see from policymakers, and what would you like to see from the private sector in terms of what CEOs do?
Great question. So number one, you and I talked last year about we need immigration reform, because we have a worker shortage. We're losing 350,000 people almost a month that are turning 65, that are either going into retirement or semi-retirement, whatever it is. So we have a workforce issue if we want to grow GDP. The second thing is that we do need to stock the boards of U.S. companies. I think it's 2/3 of the U.S. Fortune 100 have no Latino on a board, which doesn't make sense to me as a person that wants to understand the consumers where my growth is, right? And then secondly, in terms of the C-suites, we need people that understand the markets, because the thematics, the drivers of growth, and how to relate to the consumer buying your products and services, whether it be B2B or B2C.